Let's do 2019 AP Macro FRQ number 3. Let's see what the College Board has done to us. Ooh, that's not going to work, is it? Let's see. Can I get that to disappear? Let's choose that. Yeah, that's better. All right, number 3. Assume that households in Econland increase their savings for retirement. Using a correctly labeled graph of the loanable funds market, show how an increase in savings will affect the equilibrium real interest rate. So, loanable funds market. We should just know that loanable funds market is money in the banks. That implies that we're talking about the real interest rates on the vertical and just quantity, QLF, or quantity of loanable funds on the horizontal. It is just a simple supply of loanable funds and demand for loanable funds. Anyway, again, the easiest way to think about your loanable funds market is just to think about it as money in the banks, right? So it's just the amount of stock or money, physical capital in the banks. That's the way I like to think about it. Now, if people are saving for retirement, that means where do they put their money? Usually in the banks, right? They're putting their money in the banks. So your supply of loanable funds is going to increase. It's going to shift to the right. So we're going to get this increase of money in the banks. What that's going to do is that's going to drive down your real interest rate. Let's just do IR. You could probably get away with IR1 and IR2. Doesn't matter. We're cool here as long as we know what we're doing. Arrows. Don't forget the quantity of loanable funds. I can't say that I think they're really too distraught over that. They don't check that. But this is very important. This real interest rate. That's all what we're doing there. Show what's going on with that real interest rate. All right, done there. Recognize that with loanable funds, you can either have shown the supply of loanable funds shifting one way, or you could have shown demand for loanable funds. Now, I'm a supply of loanable funds guy, so that's kind of how I think about money going into a bank. But understand that both of these answers are going to be right, and the College Board will accept either one of these. So at the same time, recognize that my interest rate is going down here. I'm a supply of loanable funds guy. So as soon as I see money going in the bank, the first thing I think about is there's more supply. I could have also said that the demand for loanable funds has decreased. Obviously, if there's more money in the banks, that implies that the demand has gone down. So either one of these, but recognize both of these are showing the real interest rate going down. So either one of these would have been appropriate. Both absolutely correct. Again, I think it's whatever you choose, whatever you like, whatever makes sense to you. I tend to only think of demand for loanable funds if they say something like investors are investing more in the market, and then I'm thinking demand must be increasing or decreasing or something like that. But for putting money in the banks, I'm going to think supply every time. Again, I think College Board will accept either one and be perfectly happy with either one that you give. All right, and we don't have to explain anything. We just have to show it. So we're good. Based solely on the real interest rate change, identify what will happen to the purchases of foreign assets. Now, I really dislike this language here. It should be foreign investment assets. What we're talking about here is a foreign exchange thing here. So the idea is that as the real interest rate goes down in Econolance, let's do it real quick here. Here's Econolance. Here's, let's just call it other countries. The Econolance's real interest rate is going down. That implies that other countries' real interest rates are going up. And here's our foreign exchange market. Now, let's do that a little bit better. We understand that as our real interest rate in Econolance goes down, people move their money out of Econolance into the Forex. They buy other currencies, and they're going to put their money in other countries to get that high real interest rate, right? This is a clearly foreign exchange question here, but it's kind of not set up so that it's apparent. The understanding, though, again, is that if one country has a low real interest rate, relatively the other countries must have higher real interest rates. So capital will flow out of Econoland and flow into these other countries. So there's going to be more assets. What will happen to Econoland's purchases of foreign assets? They will increase. They will increase. They will go up. And we would simply explain that here in that lower interest rates on Econoland would drive Econoland citizens to buy more foreign investment assets. That real interest rate shows that they could take their money and put it into foreign banks and get a higher interest rate on their money. And that's what they mean by foreign assets, foreign investment assets. I think would have been a little bit clearer there for us. So there would be an increase, and we would simply explain that again as Econoland has lower real interest rates, they would purchase more other countries' foreign assets to get those higher interest rates in other countries. All right, C now, definitely foreign exchange. Based on your answer to part B, what will happen to the international value of Econoland's currency? So this goes back to the foreign exchange question here. If Econoland citizens are taking their cash and moving it out of Econoland due to that lower real interest rate, they're dumping their currency into the Forex. As they dump their currency into the Forex, the supply of Econoland's currency in the Forex increases. And this is driving down the value. Can you see the value's got to be going down? Recognize that as there's more currency, Econoland's currency, inside the Forex, the supply increases and therefore the value of we can just do exchange rate here. Exchange rate 1, exchange rate 2, and this is Econoland's currency here. This would be the quantity of Econoland's currency here. And it would be compared to something else, but that's okay. We don't need to show that. They're not asking us to draw it. They're just asking us to explain what will happen to the value. And I'm showing you, this is how we would draw it, right? If this was the Mexican pesos, it would be pesos to Econoland currency. And the supply in the Forex of Econoland's currency increases, driving down the value. The value would go down. We don't even need to explain it, but I just wanted to show that. Based on your answer to part C1, would Econoland central bank buy or sell its currency in the foreign exchange market to offset the value? Let's go one step further up here before we move to number 2. I showed you the supply increasing because it makes sense to me that Econoland citizens are taking their dollars and dumping it into the Forex. Again, just like with loanable funds, though, you could have shown the demand decreasing. If the value is decreasing because the supply is increasing, it must also imply that the demand could be decreasing here, showing the value going down. Now, either one of these is totally correct for the College Board. Oops, I almost write quantity of loanable funds. How about quantity of whatever that is? Again, if it was pesos, it would be pesos to Econoland, quantity of Econoland, showing the value falling, going down there. So either one of these would have been correct. What they're mostly interested in, obviously, is the value of the currency. Notice that both of these are showing the value going down. This takes a little practice. Again, I'm a supply guy, so I think of everything in terms of supply unless it's something specific. All right, let's see if we can get rid of this and then we'll keep moving on. Hopefully that helped. If not, contact me. We can get together very quickly. I can tend to teach people to do foreign exchange in about 45 minutes. 45 minutes, you can almost know how to answer about 90% of all foreign exchange questions. It's fairly simple when you use this kind of model to explain it. All right, but it seems to cause all kinds of heartache for some reason. Based on your answer to Part C, I would Econolance central bank buy or sell its currency in the foreign exchange market to offset the change in its value. So think about it like this. If what goes in to the Forex, the supply increases and the value goes down, wouldn't the supply decreasing drive the value up? Yes, it would. So if Econolance currency bought, if their governments bought their currency or if they buy it, the value would increase. The value would go up because they're taking that money out of the Forex. As the supply decreases, it's going to drive up the value of the Econolance currency. Remember, just like with the stock market, just like the foreign exchange, it is the amount of money in there that drives the value up or down. So less money, higher values; more money, lower values. If that makes sense. All right, guys. If you need any help, let me know. You can find me at Wisant. All right, my friends. Take care. Be safe. Bye.